It is the session from 1FM and day one now of our special on Radiohead's new album, The Bends. We're going to be talking to all the members of Radiohead through the week about the new album. We have Johnny Greenwood, guitarist, with us tonight. Strange, we were just talking while that record was on about the fact that obviously the last album, Pablo Honey, was a grower in a lot of people's minds. Right. You put it out and it sort of took off. This one, you have to make a dramatic entrance for.
Well, yeah, it's just bizarre that we weren't prepared for the shelf life of the first album to be 2 or 3 years. We kind of had planned to sort of tour England once and then do the second album straight away. And we weren't really prepared for the intensity with which it's been listened to and reviewed and such like. And the length of time. I mean, when we first formed the band, we were writing sort of songs every week, and just that's kind of the kick we were getting from being in a band. And to suddenly turn around and just have to stop writing songs or stop being able to record songs has been a very frustrating time.
So can you put it into context for us, how this album actually came about? It's the start of the week. Tell us, what was the run-in to this record? Where were you when you started writing the songs?
They were just written during the tours. We'd have a tiny guitar amp, and me and Tom would be sitting in dressing rooms, cliched enough, and we've actually got recordings for most of the album of me and Tom just singing the songs as we think they're going to be. I mean, when the rest of the band is sound checking completely out of time in another building. So
when and where would this have been?
Oh, when we were supporting Belly in America, James in Europe, just sort of hither and thither. But there are none of those kind of cliche. It's funny how every band on their second album has a song, something along the lines of "A Motel Ain't Home" or "We're Missing Home," but there's none of that, I'm afraid.
There's not. Yeah, some American punk bands always specialise in songs about laundry.
Yes, don't they? Something like that. But no,
having to get their washing done. Did you find it was quite different then? Obviously, writing songs on the road, but you're writing songs 3 years down the line, 2 years down the line from the last album. Was it a real release to actually be able to get on and think, well, right, we've got a purpose now. We've got a second album which we've got to record at X time?
Definitely. It's like, I don't know, it's like writing a play or something and then having to tour it for too long. Kind of touring is fun for a while, performing it's fun for a while, but you just yearn to do something new. Or it's like writing a book and just promoting it for 3 years. It makes no sense because you're a writer, really.
Were you getting bored with the part then?
Not really. We were kind of, pushing the songs and messing them up as much as we could, but it does kind of get a little bit jukebox-like when you're, still playing the same songs 3 years later.
And also because I suppose people are putting their money in and expecting to hear the hits that they want to hear, and that's it.
Which is fine, but when we are, like I say, restricted to just 12 songs that people know, really, then it really does get too frustrating, I think.
But this album really, I suppose, is your first chance to confirm what Radiohead has been doing.
That's right, Steve, yeah, definitely. It's like I said, when we first started the band and we'd just record ourselves all the time and be obsessed with our own recordings. And this is the first time that we've actually done a recording as Radiohead that's still like that, I'm still pretty obsessed with the record, which is a great sign, I think.
Okay, give us a favourite track and we'll play that one.
Oh, you will? Street Spirit, probably.
And why? Because this is a big climax almost of the album.
Yeah, it is. I think both of our albums, the best song has always been the last song, and it's just sort of the way it builds up and the tension that builds up is very exciting. Makes me want to grip the table, and it's very magical-like. It's beautiful.
We'll play it now then.
1FM, it is the evening session, and continuing our week of the Radiohead onslaught. We're talking now to Ed O'Brien on guitar, usually for the band, but without at the moment.
That's right, without my red guitar.
Red guitar?
Yeah, red guitar.
Oh, very good.
All you need is a red guitar, 3 chords, and the truth, apparently.
And that's kind of carried you through your life,
Yeah,
No, it's been 3 years, isn't it, since Pablo Honey? What were you actually up to?
Last year was incredibly frustrating because we didn't actually have, until the Iron Lungs CD, we didn't have anything out. And people were sort of saying, we're a Radiohead, yeah, they're the one-hit wonder, they're the band that did Creep and Pablo Honey. But we had these songs, so we decided to go out on the road and play them live. And then went back in the studio and basically recorded the album in pretty much 2 weeks.
Do you enjoy the touring?
Yeah, well, we've always loved the touring. That was obviously the thing that we started, up on stage playing live, and for a while we were sort of, we're a touring band, we hate studios, we're going to do everything live. On stage, especially with 3 guitars, you can sort of cover your mistakes a bit. But we sort of learned to relax, and so what we decided to do was that the 5 of us, basically, having toured these songs for 2 months, we were pretty confident about the performance of them. We just went in and played as a 5-piece on a lot of them.
What do you actually do for entertainment then when you're in the studio? What kind of video games?
I do a lot of reading. In the summer, we were at a studio just outside Oxford, which is our hometown, and it was great. They had the swimming pool there, and at the end of the session at midnight, we'd all go for a swim. They had all these inflatables and stuff like that, and have a laugh. So it was a very relaxing kind of process.
Do you find that really bizarre, living that kind of life where you...
Yeah, I mean, it's totally weird that maybe in a day you've tracked this song that you're really, really proud of, and there you are on this warm summer's evening, staying at this manor house, lying on this inflatable coconut tree. Quite often, the whole thing about being in a band is weird, and quite often you find yourself pinching yourself and saying, is this really happening? I mean, like a couple of weeks ago, we were doing a video in LA, and we were staying at the Chateau Marmont where John Belushi died. You know, us, Radiohead, the lads from Oxford, you know, it's something that you just have to sit back and just like enjoy the moment or whatever.
So it's kind of inescapable. You can't avoid living the rock and roll lifestyle,
well,
can you?
this is the thing about the rock and roll lifestyle, that a lot of the bands that we've toured with haven't been, we always thought that, you know, this kind of whole thing about drinking loads and just going out and partying all night. But every band that we've toured with has never done that. So, and we certainly don't do that. I mean, the important thing for us is, you know, we have a laugh and we have a few drinks or whatever. But the most important thing, especially out on the road, is the show the next night and putting on the best show that you possibly can. So the rock and roll mythology, it's probably escaped us. It's probably passed us by.
Just stick to the swimming pools.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So the one track that you're particularly proud of and you'd like us to play now?
I think probably is Nice Dream. I remember hearing it. Tom and I were going down to Bristol. We're going to visit our respective girlfriends, and we were driving down, and Tom said, I've got this some acoustic stuff on acoustic guitar, and we put it in my tape machine in the car and heard it, and it was like, this is amazing. And I was just a gobsmacked. I played it like 8 times. He was totally bored. He said, do you think it's that good? This is amazing. And yeah, Nice Dream is it's also my dad's favourite track as well.
Okay, for Ed's dad, this is it.
And that's another big tune at 8 on the evening session, which brings us round to night 3 of our look at the brand new Radiohead LP, which is called The Bends. So far we've had the 2 guitarists. Now comes obviously the important part of the band. This is the rhythm section with Phil Selway to my left and Colin Greenwood here, bass guitarist for the band. First time, I'd like to just quickly go back, because the first time I probably met you was in a hotel after a gig in Stoke when you were supporting Kingmaker on tour. And then this was the classic early van tour, wasn't it?
It was one of the few nights where we weren't going home to Oxford and we could afford staying at the hotel, and we stayed up quite late. I remember drinking some red wine with you and Miles from Kingmaker.
Now, this led on to something else. You were telling me that you have a wine society on the road?
We do. I mean, really, it's just an excuse when we're in Europe to go to the nearest like French garage and pick up like a £1 bottle of Plonk and then go, ooh, it's got a really buttery nose or something about it. But
unfortunately, Colin's actually been kicked out of the society.
Yes, I have.
He's no longer a member.
Was it a tremendous novelty when you first had the luxury of hotels and things, though?
It was amazing. I mean, the first thing you check out is the bathroom and like see all the free like gifts and stuff they leave on the side. And
do you take those home?
Yeah, at the beginning you do, because when you start in the hotels, because you get like hoarding instinct, because you think, my God, this is amazing, you know, like soap and shampoo. But then, you know, if you took everything back from every hotel, you'd have enough to open your own branch of Boots or something.
What about America?
The tour buses are actually a lot nicer over there. It was like our first night in the States touring, and we got on, and it's just like being in a morgue, because like the doors cut off all the daylight. It was all done out in black marble. You know, I just thought, let's put a little label on everybody's big toe or something.
It was like sleeping in spectacularly plush coffins.
Yeah. This is a stage in your career, I suppose, where do you feel a certain amount of pressure now?
It's only pressure that we want for ourselves, you know, because we think this record's so good. Yeah, of course there's pressure, but, you know, as far as possible, it's pressure under our own terms.
When you're actually writing the songs, do you all have a certain power of veto? If you see a song going down the wrong, you know, sort of dead end, do you say, as a rhythm section, go, no, we are King Canute, no, we will not do this?
Yeah, I mean, it's the only way we could actually work as a 5-piece and stay working together as a 5-piece. And if you don't like things, then you just do a completely inappropriate rhythm. That stymies the song for me from the outset, doesn't it?
Stick a bossa nova beat under the new rock number.
But we did that. Oh, no.
Yeah, we did that on the last record, and it got on the record, a song called Blow Out.
Yeah.
Because there's been obviously a few things, like even Creep itself was originally recorded when you didn't even know the tape was running, and it was like just a song being knocked out. Did you find when you were doing this LP, although you thought about it a lot, that some of the mistakes ended up being the best ideas or something?
Well, towards the last section of recording the record, we were with Rack Studio with John Leckie, we experimented with like staying up late and drinking a bit before recording, and it was great. It was quite liberating after like doing regular days of recording, and we got a lot of good stuff done like that, especially the first track on the album called Planet Telex, which is the result of sticking together some of Phil's drums on a computer from an outtake of another track, and Tom and Ed like messing around with guitar effects, and just like everything was done in one evening.
We're going to play another track tonight off the new album from Radiohead, the band. What's it going to be? Obviously, a bit strange tonight because we've got two people got to agree on one track.
Yeah, well, we had some fisticuffs outside.
Yeah, and we decided.
Yeah, Phil won, and it's High and Dry.
High and Dry.
High and Dry.
Yeah.
High and Dry.
Yes, it is. Just quickly, as we play in High and Dry, Pablo Honey, Jerky Boys reference. Still Jerky Boys fans?
Got to go and see the film when
Yeah.
it comes out. We were offered the chance to do a song for the soundtrack, but we didn't think it was a good idea at the time, and it turns out to be it's the top third biggest grosser in America at the moment. Bit of a mistake there, maybe.
Brilliant. Phil and Colin from Radiohead, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
1FM, it is the evening session, concluding our week of Radiohead interviews by talking to Tom from the band now. We've heard the rest of the band's tales of torture over the past 3 years
Oh, really?
since Pablo Honey. Yes. How was it for you?
Oh, just the same then. Just as torturous.
Was it frustrating for you?
Yeah, frustrating to the point of complete madness, really. There was one occasion we went down to an MTV Latino or something thing, and me and Johnny were going to play a couple of acoustic songs. We thought, yeah, great, excellent. And you turn up, of course, and the producer sort of says there and then, well, you're going to have to play Creep Low, because otherwise people won't know who you are. And it's like, I spent half the day arguing with the producer, with the record company, with my manager, saying, I'm not doing this song. There's no way in hell I'm doing it. And everyone said, well, you have to, because that's you. And people won't know. Well, we played the first 2 or 3 bars and then just stopped.
And was this going out live?
Yeah, I think so.
And so it's everyone that you kind of feel under pressure from, and the general public.
General public never really been an issue for me. To be perfectly honest, I prefer recording and writing than I do touring, because touring is a real physical thing for me, and I really love it. But if I'm ill, like I am now, it's a nightmare. And I mean, what the general public think, what the press writes, and what people listen to is irrelevant. Because if I can't get into the studio, or if I can't get in front of a tape machine and write stuff, then I'm going to be frustrated.
You say that it got to the point of madness. Was there a time when you just had enough?
Yeah, they come and go. And maybe it's probably just me. Most people seem to cope with it.
Do the rest of the band cope with it?
Oh, a lot better than I do.
Do they cope with you?
Yeah.
Do they help you?
Yeah.
So has this kind of madness surfaced on the album?
Madness isn't really the right word. The word was sort of just acute paranoia. It could have gone either way. We could have walked out the studio and given up there and then, but then things started happening. The next album will be a lot less considered. Because
this album has been with you for quite a long time. Are you now desperate to get onto the next album?
Yes, thanks. Yes.
Are you writing?
Yeah. I mean, what we're going to do is just record it in bits and pieces. The next one as we go along. Dream on. if we actually get a weekend free somewhere.
Can you not just stop the world and get off at all?
No.
Do you think you get the pressure because you're the singer and you're the writer?
Probably, yeah. I mean, when I was writing, when I was younger, so when I was at college, I'd sit there with a tape recorder or whatever, and I'd write it, and that would be it. And now it's like so much more long, drawn-out process, and or we'd go into rehearsal, and it would be a real laugh. And now it's, I don't know, it's just suddenly, because we have this thing on tape that I'm really proud of, I just don't want to stop, I want to go straight into doing it again. And
do you care much about the reaction that this album gets from the press?
No.
Not at all?
No. If I worried about the press, I really would go crazy. I really would, because the thing is, I take everything so much to heart.
Okay, so how would you sum up this album then, what it says about the state of Radiohead now?
I think we're getting there. I think we're getting better. And I'm really bloody proud of it, and I hope people get to hear it.
Okay, and one track you'd like to play off it?
Oh, Bulletproof. It was really fun making that, me and Phil and Colin playing our bits, and then we left Johnny and Ed for a whole day, sitting there, doing their guitars, and they couldn't work out what they were going to play. They didn't have a clue. So me and John Lucky said, all right, just we'll set the tape rolling and you do what you like, but it won't have anything to do with the track. We'll just tell you when to stop. But because of that, all these amazing like sounds and accents came out of what they were doing on their guitars with like cigarette lighters and bits and pieces. And I really liked that, purely because it was a total accident.
Okay, here it is then. Bulletproof.